Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. Things are getting very interesting each passing day. Things are falling apart in order. The center can no longer hold. The differences between Ruto and his deputy Rigathi are irreconcilable. And it's just a matter of time before an explosion is heard in Kenya Kwanza. To Kenya Kwanza supporters who are still living in denial, the truth is, after all will have been said and done, even if William Ruto and Rigathi force themselves to work together, eventually they will part ways. That's the truth, and that's the reality. So Kenya Kwanza supporters should be prepared well in advance for that imminent split. And that will be very good for their mental health. Let's have a look at an interesting story captured by Nation Daily today. Gachagua seeks new party amid falling out with Ruto. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is in the process of acquiring a new political party as his split with President William Ruto escalates. Nation has established that Mr. Gachagua is actively engaging officials of the New Democrats, TND, as his courts for an option away from President Ruto's United Democratic Alliance, UDA. So Gachagua's new party is this TND. The story continues. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is in the process of acquiring a new political party as his split with President William Ruto escalates. Nation has established that Mr. Gachagua is actively engaging officials of the New Democrats TND as his calls for an option away from President Ruto's United Democratic Alliance UDA. And Mr. Gachagua's confident Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga, in an exclusive interview with the Nation, declared that should the president continue allowing the attacks against the DP and possibly trying to sideline him, he risks losing the current support he enjoys in Mount Kenya region. The story continues. The registrar of parties, Ann Nderitu, told the Nation that the party had made applications to make changes in the list of officials. She, however, could not provide specific details as she was away from the office. So even the Register of Political Parties has confirmed that this new party Gachagua intends to acquire is in the process of making some name changes. Yeah, so this thing is real, ladies and gentlemen. And there is also an interesting bit of it here. A source is also saying he has acquired a political party and recently approached a governor from Western Kenya to be part of his team. He even asked him to plan a meeting with a former cabinet minister. So Rigathi has started reaching out to some leaders, and so far he has approached a governor, a sitting governor from Western. We know in Western we have Kakamega Governor Barasa, we have Paul Otuoma Busia, we have Otichilo Vihiga, and we have the Bungoma Governor. And Natembea is not in Western, but he can also be considered as a governor from Western. So we have those governors, and it's rumored Rigathi has approached one of them. You can just tie the dots to know the one Rigathi has approached. And it's getting interesting, ladies and gentlemen. If you dig deep into that story, as captured by Daily Nation, Rigathi, Gachagua, and his team are saying that 3 war fronts have been opened against Rigathi Gachagua. The first war front is the Young Turks, the Ndindinyoros, and the Denis Itumbis. That's the first war front that has been opened against Rigathi Gachagua. It is true battlefronts have been opened against the DP. One is the Gen Z group, which believes that it is their time to assert themselves in leadership positions, and since they don't have the guts or muscle to take on the presidency, they opt for the seemingly weaker of the two, the DP. Mr. Kahiga told the nation during an exclusive interview. These are the operatives with close proximity to Dr. Ruto, including his social media strategists. The others are his friends who have been around him for long, the young MPs from the mountain. There we have Ndidinyoro, and the media strategist here is clearly Denis Itumbi. The governor noted that the other group fighting the DP is the G7, which is being fronted by Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, under the guise of seeking to increase the number of female governors in the next election. Mr. Kahiga said she is using that as a ploy to strategically place herself as a possible replacement of the DP. Those are 2 fronts. And the third front, the nation has established that apart from the DP's claims of being fought by President Ruto's close associates and the women factor in the 2027 race, ODM leader Raila Odinga's growing influence in government circles has also upset him. Mr. Odinga seems to have found a footing in the Kenya Kwanza administration following his endorsement for the chairperson of the African Union Commission, AUC, by President Ruto. So we have those 3 fronts as is being claimed by Rigathi Gachagua's camp. The first camp are the Young Turks, the Ndinyoros, Oscar Sudis, and the Denis Itumbis. The second front is the Women Caucus being led by Anne Waiguru and Cecily Mbarire. And now the third front is Raila Odinga's front. I want us to put all this into perspective for Kenyans to understand what's happening here. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Let's proceed. The war between Ruto and his deputy Rigathi is real. It's not cosmetic. And even if William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua were to force themselves to work together, eventually they will part ways. And one thing that can force Ruto and Rigathi to work together is if Rigathi Gachagua can prove that he's a force on the ground, on the mountain's ground. If he proves himself, William Ruto will most definitely reach out to him, and Ruto can pick him again as his running mate come 2027. But if only he proves he is a force to reckon with on the mountain. If he fails to prove that, then William Ruto will dump him even before 2027. Another thing coming out clearly from this, we still remember some times back William Ruto saying at a women caucus that they will sit together with Rigathi and see on how if the president of UDA, if UDA's presidential candidate is a man, the deputy will be a woman. We all know that UDA's presidential candidate come 2027 will be Ruto, a man. So naturally we should expect a woman to deputize Ruto. That's also an issue Rigathi Gachagua has got some issues with. He has already seen he is going to be dumped before 2027. And some of these things, for those who have been following us on a daily basis, we keep on explaining these things. And that's something I did explain months back, that was a plot to dump Rigathi Gachagua. So it's actually true, that plot is there. And now Raila Odinga is also coming in. That his influence is growing each passing day in Kenya Kwanza government. That's now the narrative Rigathi and his team are trying to push. The mountain should wake up. My people perish for lack of knowledge. They rejected Uhuru Kenyatta for working with Raila. Yes, they voted for Ruto. Ruto, from what we are gathering, is also now working with Raila. And even if they vote for Rigathi and he becomes the president, Rigathi will still work with Raila Odinga. The mountain should wake up to these realities. Raila Odinga is a force in Kenyan politics. You can't just ignore him. The earlier the mountain realizes that, the better for them. As I conclude, the war is real, not cosmetic. And that war is good for Kenya in that it's going to kick out useless leaders from government. Leaders who are just there to further their own ethnic hatred against some other communities. Let's meet in our next analysis. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Kenya.